Good afternoon, I'm Raylene Ramsey. This is your afternoon news fix for Friday, the 20th of October. US President Joe Biden's requesting assistance from Congress to provide funding for both Israel and Ukraine. In his address at the Oval Office, he declared the aim of Hamas and the Russian President Vladimir Putin is to annihilate democracies. The speech comes hours after the US shot down a number of missiles and drones fired by Yemen over the Red Sea, possibly heading towards Israel. Biden says America can't sit back and watch the violence spread.
The United States remains committed to the Palestinian people's right to dignity and to self-determination. The actions of Hamas terrorists don't take that right away.
The Transport Accident Investigation Commission's identified major safety concerns in the stevedoring industry after 2 deaths at ports in Auckland and Lyttelton in April last year. The Commission's recommended Maritime NZ work with the industry on minimum training standards, a risk management code of practice and sharing safety information. Chief Commissioner Jane Mears says both companies were weak in risk identification and mitigation and relied too much on administrative risk controls.
It's always concerning to find out that an entity that should be responsible for safety doesn't know what's happening within the company itself.
The New Zealand Alpine Club is committing to improving systems and training in line with the coroner's recommendations following a death on Mount Ruapehu. British woman Emma Langley succumbed to hypothermia after slipping and falling above the Whangaehu Glacier in September 2020. She'd completed a beginner snowcraft course with the Alpine Club a month earlier, and a coroner ruled it hadn't adequately equipped her with knowledge. General Manager Karen Leacock says the club will honour the learnings of that day and make improvements to continue supporting people on their journey in the mountains. Auckland University says it's raising hall fees as many of its costs are rising higher than inflation, including food and living wages. Fees are going up by an average 8.2% for catered halls, 7.3% for self-catered halls. Shannon Johnstone has more.
A university spokesperson says with the fee rises, assuming halls are almost fully occupied, they project a surplus of $203,000, 0.3% of total revenue. If food costs increase slightly or occupancy rates are slightly lower, that surplus won't be achieved and costs would have to be met by funding that would otherwise be spent on teaching and research.
A macroeconomics professor is hitting back at a forecast our economy is on track for a soft landing. Infometrics has revised its expectations for next year up to 0.9% growth, saying strong migration figures are having an effect. Auckland University Professor Robert McCulloch says the report is silly.
How they could come out with a line like that when in 2024 the IMF ranks our GDP growth as 180 out of 189 countries in the world.
To sport, and former coach Yvonne Willering doubts the Silver Ferns can wrestle the Constellation Cup off Australia. They need a big 17-goal victory in the final meeting in Auckland on Monday to take the series. Formula One drivers could be fined €1 million, that's around 1.8 million New Zealand dollars, after the sport's governing body announced an increase to the maximum sanction stewards can impose on a driver. And the Wellington Phoenix men's coach says predictions they'll claim the wooden spoon ahead of this weekend's A-League opener against Western Sydney are disrespectful. I'm Raylene Ramsey, and that is your latest news fix. We'll be back with the next update tomorrow morning from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.